For 2.5 years, she endured this abuse in the name of love. Cuts on nose, bruises on neck and eyes swollen. This is how Aftab Poonawalla allegedly used to assault her.
उसको विश्वास नहीं था कि कंपनी चला सकता है, समझा?
Hello everyone, welcome back to today's topic of the day. Today, we'll be discussing about domestic violence. Now, recently, UN Study on Gender Equality Attitudes 2022 observes that while 90% of the Indians espouse gender equality, 45% still justifies wife beating. Also, the recent case of Shraddha Walker's brutal murder by the accused, her live-in partner Aftab Poonawalla, has brought the issue of domestic violence in light. Now, domestic violence is the pattern of abusive behavior in a domestic relationship that is used by the person to gain or maintain power and control over another person. It can occur within a range of relationships, including couples who are married, living together, or dating. Victims may also include a child or other relative or any other household member. Now, let's see the forms of domestic violence. Physical abuse, hurting a partner by hitting, burning, honor killing, female genital mutilation, and acid throwing. Sexual abuse, forcing a partner in a non-consensual sex, that is marital rape. Financial abuse, making a person financially dependent by maintaining total control over financial resources, withholding access to money, and forbidding attendance at school or employment. Dowry-related abuse and deaths, bride burning. And psychological and emotional abuse, intimidation and threatening physical harm, stalking, name-calling or other verbal abuse, underlying a person's sense of self-worth through constant criticism and forcing isolation from friends and family. Now, talking about its prevalence in India. As per the National Family Health Survey 5 report, 32% of married women between 18 to 49 years have experienced physical, sexual or emotional spousal violence. The most common type of spousal violence is physical violence, which is 28%, followed by emotional violence and sexual violence. Now let's see what are the reasons for the domestic violence. Patriarchal mindset, gender inequality, dowry, jealousy and suspicion of cheating are the underlying reasons for domestic violence against women. Domestic violence typically occurs with alcohol abuse. Alcohol use has been reported as the factor by 2/3 of domestic abuse victims. It is also observed that domestic violence also tend to increase whenever families spend more time together, such as during prolonged vacations and lockdowns as witnessed during COVID-19. Now, why do the victims stay with abusers? Now, this is due to emotional, physical, and financial dependence on their spouse. Most of the victims do not escape the relationship. Through gaslighting, abusive partners cause victims to feel like they are responsible for the abuse. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse that abusers use to confuse and shift blame onto the victim. According to a UNICEF report of 2012, 50% of the women justify the beating by husband. Abusers may try to isolate the victim from friends and family, thereby reducing the people and places where the survivors can go for the support. Now, this has major impact on women. Physical health outcomes, injury from lacerations to fractures and internal organs injury, unwanted pregnancy, gynecological problems and permanent disability. Mental health effects, depression, fear, anxiety, low self-esteem, sexual dysfunctioning, eating disorders, obsessive-compulsive disorder, or post-traumatic stress disorder. Financial effects, women and children experiencing domestic violence undergo occupational apartheid. They are typically denied access to desired occupations. And fatal effects can include suicide, homicide, maternal mortality. Now, there are certain steps taken in India. The Protection of Women from Domestic Act 2005 provides a definition of domestic violence for the first time in Indian law, with this definition being broad and includes not only physical violence but also other forms of violence such as emotional, verbal, sexual and psychological abuse. The Dowry Prohibition Act 1961 made the act of giving and receiving dowry a crime. Section 498A of Indian Penal Code criminalizes cruelty against women by husband and his relatives. The government is implementing the One-Stop Center scheme, popularly known as the Sakhi One-Stop Centers, since 2015 under Nirbhaya Fund to help women affected by violence and in distress, both in private and public spaces. Now, this was little bit about the topic domestic violence. Coming to the practice question from this topic, consider the following statements relating to the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. Statement 1. This law provides a definition of domestic violence for the first time in Indian law. Statement 2. This definition includes various forms of domestic violence such as physical, emotional, verbal, sexual, and psychological abuse. Now, which of the statements given above are correct? You may take a moment and give your answer in the comment section below. The correct answer is C. Both statement 1 and 2 are correct. I hope you liked the video and found the information useful. You can also check out the Daily Current Affairs section on our website for further details. And for more such updates, stay tuned to Next IAS YouTube channel.